call me on the phone before the end of the night. Well, it's approaching.
Hey, it's Bryan with DD214 Transport. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notification. I'm coming to you live from the road. And yeah, it's been an interesting week. Hope you guys are ready to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's all coming your way in just a few minutes. Before we get started, let's thank the veterans and first responders for all they do and all they continue to do for our country. We want to let everybody know that Wounded Warrior Project and St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is our charities of choice. And if you want to work with me directly, you can go over to Patreon and you can chip in there and you'll get my phone number and we can work together hand in hand. Tonight from the road, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some good stuff coming. So I hope you stand by for a few minutes and we'll go through that. All right, diesel prices. Diesel prices down to a flat 4. So we are right at a flat $4 a gallon. That's down another 1.8 cents from a week ago. All right, next week, March 21st is that next week? March 21st through the 23rd is the Louisville Truck Show, North America's Truck Show, and we will be there. Don't forget, I know I'm reminding you guys every week, May 14th through the 16th is the International Road Check Week. Picture of the week. I don't have a lot of news, guys. I've been out on the road, so I'm not running a lot of news this time. But this is the load we rescued in North Carolina. And man, that thing was heavy. It's 12,000 pounds. And yeah, she rode heavy. She felt heavy. And yeah, there you go. This is James. He's got some pretty cool little yard implements. It looks like he's got a backhoe and some kind of little go buggy on there. Robert's picking up AC units. That's Robert again. I don't know what that stuff is. It just looks like metal. There you go. Hey, I forgot, just so you guys know, I forgot how much I don't like the tarp. So that was my tarp job. That was aluminum, and that stuff was sharp. This is mine too. I just dropped these off today. 2 John Deere tractors. Nice tractors, man. This is maybe the coolest thing I saw all week. That Black Hawk helicopter coming in on a super load. That was pretty cool. And the crazy shit you see out there come in from Jim, and he took that picture, and that was etched into the back of that tank. I thought that was pretty damn funny. Now, next week, I took a lot of pictures this week, but due to time constraints, I really didn't have a lot of time to process them. We'll have a pretty good show next week. We're going to talk about the money from this week and how it's broke out. So you guys want to be there for that one as well. It's going to be just a follow-up to this one. Under the hood, tax prep, still working on it. We rescued a load last week. Still on the road from rescuing that load. I kind of feel like Forrest Gump, I just started running and couldn't get away from it. So I just kept running. And then we're still in the process of outfitting the van. Now, again, our service van is coming up around the 1st of April. So get ready for that. 75-mile area around Charlotte. We will actually come to you. So here we go. The good, the bad, the ugly. So the good. Well, guys, here I am sitting in the hotel, but the good is that I got to meet some people I normally wouldn't have got to meet. I was going through uh, Dothan, Alabama, and just happened to be on the phone with my insurance broker, and they're out of Dothan, Alabama. I actually they come out and met me and brought me a snack. That was really cool. I'll show you pictures here in a minute. But I got to meet Sharon, Robert's wife. Um, Now, on the money side of things, let's see. We picked up that load Thursday. So I've been on the road 6 days. Okay. Out of those 6 days, I worked 3.5. That's what I physically drove, was 3.5 days. And we dropped $5,000 worth of freight. That's what the truck brought in, was 5,000 for the week. And next week I'll go over how that money breaks out. But so that was the good. We had a really good time. So, and I really didn't run that hard. I was just consistent. Now, this is my insurance. I guess my insurance case manager, so to speak. She, anytime I need something, that's who I'm calling right there. And that's Bryan. He was on the show at one point. So I was headed to deliver those tractors, and I'm telling you, I was a half a mile. I really appreciate Bryan bring me the snack. Patty and Bryan brought me out a snack from golly, what was it? Panera Bread. Yeah. So yeah, that was awesome. And it was great to see him. I'd never met him before. So, it was great to spend some time with him. It was very little time, but yeah. This is Sharon, Robert's wife. I would have never got to meet her otherwise, but Robert, just so you know, hang on. I wasn't expecting to be out this long. I was really just going to rescue that load and get a run back and come home. Didn't work out like that. It's I got to running and I was like, yeah, let's go. Like I said, it was like Forrest Gump. I just kept running. And then I ended up down in Florida, and I went to Illinois, back to Idaho, back down to Georgia, over to Alabama, into Florida. Now I'm back up into Georgia. No, I'm still in Florida. Excuse me. This is still Florida. So yeah, so I took the opportunity while I was running. Now these little meet and greets picture sessions doesn't last more than a few minutes, but it's great to put a face to the name, so to speak. So that's Miss Sharon. And now the bad. All right. So, guys, I'll tell you the bad because it comes with it. So the bad worked out like this. When I got to Illinois, dropped the load, ran over to Indiana. It was 80-mile deadhead. I ran over to Indiana to pick up a load. This was on Friday. Pick up a load, head south. Well, I got to Indiana, and this shipper, number one, doesn't ship on Friday. Number two, they had no paperwork for this load. So these are the things I was telling you last week that you have to be prepared for. Well, did I get upset? No. I didn't. The options were pretty simple. One, you give me a $150 truck order not used, or two, you give me $250 and I'll lay over the night well, actually the weekend, and I'll pick up the load on Monday morning. So they chose option number two. So I laid up in a hotel from Friday afternoon to Monday morning, and went over there and got the load and brought it down to Atlanta. Now, when I got to Atlanta, um, dropped off, and I'll tell you something. This is another bad part, is that when I got to Atlanta, one of my tarps had literally just come apart at the seam as if there was no glue hanging on it at all. And the don't know, it's a manufacturer's defect, and the um, the amount of pressure it took to pull that tarp apart was like opening up a Ziploc bag. That was it. And it literally just ripped stem to stern, ripped it up. And, so I lost the tarp out of the deal. But that stuff happens. I did call the manufacturer, and the tarp's 6 months old, and they said they were not manufactured, but the retailer, and they said they wouldn't do anything about it on that old. But that's a little frustrating. But remember this, I've got tarps from 4 years ago that's not ripped up the seam like that. That's a problem. So I took a bunch of pictures, and I'm going to send them to them and say, look, I'm not asking for anything, but I am going to send it to them and say, look, here's the problem with this situation. You need to be checking this stuff because the manufacturer of this tarp, this is a defect. So maybe it'll help somebody down the road. All right, so that's the bad end. I missed on those tractors. We missed the cutoff shipping time by 40 minutes, something like that. So I ended up staying another day in Alabama because of that. But look, guys, this kind of stuff happens. It's going to happen. So just so you know, I get to my little hotel here, and I find out that they don't have any water. There's no water here. Yeah, I'm going to be rough camping it tonight, guys. So it is what it is. I had to do this live. I had to come in and just learn to overcome and adapt, roll with the punches, and figure this stuff out as you go. So anyway, back to that's the bad. Now the ugly. Well, the ugly's kind of ugly. It's not terrible ugly, but it's more than I want to admit to. But I ended up putting a racing stripe on my trailer night before last in Atlanta, north of Atlanta, where I stopped. And what had happened was any kind of hotel you get in that area, so you understand, it's tight. And they said, there was truck parking, da 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 da, and there was, but there was a lot of trucks there. So I actually went down the street. I stopped, and I preached this: if you're not sure, get out and look. If you're not sure, get out and look. Problem was, I was sure I could make that turn, and I really did not see that little yellow pole. So I made the turn, or I tried to make the turn, and I failed it. And I was like, God damn. So let me show it to you here. Here's my crime. I hope you can see it. You see it right there? And I'm really blaming it on the pole because it shouldn't have been painted. If it hadn't been painted, I think that's the only distance. I think that's the only thing that made me swap paint with it was the fact that the damn thing was painted. So yeah, I just scuffed it enough, not a dent, not a bang, nothing, just a scuff. And I cussed and blessed myself out and really rode my ass hard, but that's nothing that a little bit of, 2000 grit sandpaper and a can of spray paint won't fix. So I'll take care of that when I go home. But these, again, the smart thing to do, if you listen to my training, which I did not follow my training, okay, I wasn't sure, honestly, if I was going to be. Make a long story short, there was a car at the end of the street, so I thought I'd turn into the Zaxby's instead of going to the end of the street. It was not a good idea. If I'd have went down and looked, if I got out of my truck and went down and looked, I'd have seen that I would have had no problem making that turn. So it was a forced error on me. All right, so what else we got here? That's about it for me. That's the good and the bad and the ugly. The good is, we dropped $5,000 in the bank. The bad is I put a racing stripe, or the ugly is I put a racing stripe on my truck. We're going to bring Mila on here in a minute, and let's go and talk about her week, because honestly, if it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't have been able to do all this. And let me bring her on, everybody. I've never really had her on, but this is Mila. She's always behind the scene. And so how'd it go this week with me running? You ready for me to run another week?
Nope.
Audio. You have no audio. You have audio?
Yes.
Okay, now I can hear you. There you go. You don't want me to run another week?
No, I tried to hold my terrifying voice. No.
So we you did a great job, by the way, holding the fort down while we were going, or while I was going. A lot of stuff comes through us every day. Every day I'm there. There's a ton of stuff that phone never stops. So when I left, Mila was gracious enough. You see where she's sitting, right in my chair. So
Keeping you warm.
Keeping it warm. So she did a great job. Last week she did payroll. I was very proud of her. So how did it go? What did you think?
It was crazy because I had to do things that usually you're doing. So, but I learned a lot of new things.
Right.
So every day easier and easier, but still don't stay another week.
No. All right. Well, your audio's kicking back on me. So I'm going to drop you off of here real quick. And do we have questions from anybody?
Not yet.
Not yet. Does anybody got any questions you want to talk to me about? Like I said, I'm out on the road, so I don't have a lot of news. I haven't really paid attention to much of anything other than running and getting the job done. But you can see, guys, when I tell you that you can make money at this, that $5,000 that we made this week means nothing. It's not what you make, it's what you keep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I say, getting into this business correctly is so important. You're not able to live the life you want to live if all you're doing is working for bills. And that goes in business or your personal life. You have got to keep the expenses down. Otherwise, like I said, you're just paying for bills. So from the road, if we have no questions, no. Okay. We're going to cut it short. 20 minutes. We're good. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Hello to everybody I didn't say anything to. But this is Bryan with DD214 Transport, and this is Mila. And if you need anything, please reach out. We're always here. Remember, love your family, because that's all you got. All right, guys, we are out of here. See ya.